Baruchim haboim to our introductory shiur on Masechtas Berachos. Masechtas Berachos, as the name implies, deals primarily with the halachas of the brachas that a person says during the day, year, and on special occasions. V'ata Yisrael ma Hashem lekecha shoel mimach ki im leyiras Hashem lekecha. Chazal expound the word ma to read as meya, meaning 100, that a person should look for 100 occasions every day. To bless and thank Hashem for all the amazing goodness that Hashem bestows on us every single day. And based on this, Chazal were misaken that one should make 100 brachas each day. While on the surface, 100 might sound like a formidable amount, however, over 80% of these 100 brachas are already integrated into our 3 daily tefillas: Shachris, Mincha, and Ma'ariv. Among these 100 brachas are Birchas Hanenen, which include Kol Davar She'nene Mimenu, K'ma'achila B'shtia, or Birchas Hareach, blessings recited before and after eating and drinking, plus for other types of pleasures such as Birchas Hareach, before smelling pleasant fragrances. Birchas HaMitzvahs, such as brachas we're to make on Al Tefillin, Mezuzah, B'tzitzis, Birchas HaTeirah, and Berachos Shrach v'Haidah, praise for the wondrous phenomena of Hashem's world, such as Birchas Hayam HaGadol, Chacham HaRazim, Berachos Oisem Eisa V'Reishes, Berachos Shekeichik V'Rasim Malei Olam, Berachos Halavana V'Hachama B'Tkufasa. And also included in this category are the Berachos HaTefillah, which include Berachos HaShachar, Berachos Kriya Shema, and Shmoyne Esrei, which is itself divided into 3 categories. Shleisha Berachos Rishonos Shivchish Al Malkum, Berachos Emtzayis Divri Bakashos, and the Shalosh Berachos Achronos Shvach B'Haidah L'Hashem, thanking Hashem. The Gemara on Berachos Daf Lamed Gimel teaches that Anshe Knes Agdoyle Tiknu Lem Yisrael Tfilos V'Brachos V'Chulu, and the Rambam Perek Alf Hilchas Brachos writes, Ve'ezra u'beis dinoi tiknu es hanusach ves matbeya habrachas ve'in ro l'shanoisam v'loi l'haisif al achas mem v'loi l'groi mimeno, not to add or to diminish. Whoever changes the wording that we have in the text of Berachos, ein elotaya, is mistaken. Our Masechta, which has 9 parakim, explores much of Hilchas Tefillah, particularly those of Kriya Shema and Shmoyne Esrei. It then deals with both of the major categories of brachas: blessings that are to be recited before physical pleasures, like food, Berachos Hanenen, and of grateful praise for the wondrous phenomenon of Hashem's world, Berachos Haidah. The Masechta throughout is also replete with many fascinating agadas. So let's begin. Our Masechta begins by discussing from what time we're obligated to say Kriya Shema in the evening. We may begin saying Shema in the evening at the same time as when the Kahanim, who are tummy and purify themselves in the mikveh, may once again begin eating Truma in the evening by Tzesek Achava. The obligation to say Kriya Shema in the evening, as well as the obligation to say Kriya Shema in the morning, is based on the pasuk in Parshas Vayeschanan. Vishnantam levanecha v'debartabam b'shivtecha b'veisecha v'lechtecha v'derecha b'shachbacha v'kamecha. You shall say these parashas of Shema b'shivtecha b'veisecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'b'shachbacha when you lie down to go to sleep in the evening, u'v'kamecha when you wake up in the morning. The Mishnah begins by asking, when is the earliest time you can say Kriya Shema in the evening? The Gemara in the first Amid in the Masechta famously points out that the reason the Tana first discusses the evening Kriya Shema first as opposed to the morning Kriya Shema is also based on the fact that this very pasuk where Hashem tells us of our obligation to say Kriya Shema, the pasuk mentions evening first, uv'shachbacha, and then morning, uv'komecha, just as the Torah mentions the evening first by Bria Sa'ilam, vayi erev, and then vayi vaiker. Most mitzvahs that are dictated by the time of day and night are governed by the position of the sun around the earth. A basic understanding of this is the beginning of the morning, which is also obviously the end of the night, is dictated by the Zman of Aloisa Shachar, which is when the first rays of the sun can be seen on the eastern horizon, Mizrach. Any carbon that is to be eaten may be eaten only until the end of the night, meaning until Aloisa Shachar, and if it's left over beyond that time, it becomes possible because of Lina. On the other hand, any mitzvah that is to be done during the day, such as Lulav and Esrog, may be performed from Aloisa Shachar and on, even though it's still quite dark outside. The next month to take place is the Netzach, when the sun itself can be seen rising above the eastern horizon. Netzach is considered the optimum time to begin davening the Shmoyne Esrei Shachris, Kevasikin. At the opposite end, and the end of the day, in the afternoon, the latest time to daven Mincha, according to many shittas, is by the Shkia Sechamo, or simply referred to as the Shkia, meaning when the sun sets behind the horizon. And finally, when the last rays of the sun disappear from the sky and sets below the horizon, is the beginning of the night indicated by Tzesek Achavim, which is the optimum time to daven Ma'ariv. However, the Zman for Kriya Shema are not directly dictated by the sun, rather by the behavior of man. As the pasuk says, "V'debarta bam b'shivtecha b'veisecha v'lechtecha v'derech u'b'shachbecha v'kumecha," which teaches that Kriya Shema is to be said once in the evening b'shachbecha when people sleep or go to sleep, and once in the morning v'kumecha when people wake up. While everyone agrees that the beginning Zman that we can say Kriya Shema Shel Arvis is when night begins at Tzis Kechavim, however, for the ending Zman of Kriya Shema Shel Arvis, there is a three-way machlekes which is based on their understanding of the word b'shachbecha. At Sefer Harishmur Rishayna, says Rabbi Eliezer, which on a perfect 12-hour day, 12-hour night, would be until 10 p.m., because he understands that the word b'shachbecha refers to during the time when people generally go to sleep, which is a third of the night. Both the Chacham and Ramlil understand the word b'shachbecha to mean when people sleep, meaning throughout the night until the morning, alaysa shachar. However, the Chacham were concerned that people who just finished up a long day at work would be tempted to take a nap before saying Kriya Shema, believing that since there's plenty of time, he could say it later. However, the Chacham were concerned that they would oversleep and entirely miss the Zman, therefore they imposed a harchaka, a safeguard, that the Zman is only until Chatzais. This point that the Zman of a Kriya Shema not directly dictated by the sun, rather by the behavior of man, is further illustrated by the Gemara on Daf Chasam and Beis. Tanya, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai Omer Mishum Rabbi Kiva, Pa'amim sha'adim kari Kriya Shema shtei pam bayem. Sometimes a person can be saying Kriya Shema 2 times in the day. Achas koyim netzachama, va'achas la'achar netzachama. Once before the rising of the sun, and once after. V'yetz ben yidei chevasei, achas shal yayim, va'achas shal layla. And the person can fulfill his obligation of the Kriya Shema of the morning and the Kriya Shema of the night time. The Gemara asks, Hagufa kasha, how could this possibly be? Amrit pa'amim sha'adim kari Kriya Shema shtei pam bayem. You said that a person will be saying Kriya Shema 2 times during the daytime. Alma koyim netzachama yamamu. Obviously, you're saying before the sun rises, it's considered daytime. Then you say, you're fulfilling your obligation, you're fulfilling your obligation of the Kriya Shema of the day one and the night one. Obviously, you're considering that nighttime. And the Gemara answers, truthfully, it's already considered daytime. This that we're calling it nighttime, because there are people that are still sleeping at that time. So in reality, this time frame is really the beginning of the day. However, the fact is that many people still sleep during this time, therefore, it still can in some way still be considered night. And this halacha is based solely on the fact that Kriya Shema is dictated not so much by the actual mitzias of day or night, as much as when people still sleep and when people wake up. And again, we see this concept in the second Mishnah on the Tesma Beis, which discusses the time to say Shema in the morning. Meimesai Karen the Shema b'shachar is Mishiyaka ben Tchelis l'Lavin, Rabbi Eliezer ben Tchelis l'Karti, v'gamra ad hanetzach chama. Bishua imer ad shalosh shoyis, shekein derech malachim lamid b'shalosh shoyis. According to Bishua, Kriya Shema can be read up to 3 hours past Alei Sashachar, because till then people are still waking up. In other words, the Zman of Uvkumecha extends until 9 o'clock in the morning, because for some people, that is the time that they wake up. However, the optimum time to say Shema is, as the Mishnah said, ad netzach chama. To finish saying the Shema with the netzach chama, with the appearance of the sun above the eastern horizon, so that it can immediately begin Shemini Esrei right after the net, the first moments of the day. And this was the meaning of the Vesikin, as the Brisa says. Vesikin hayu goymen oise im hanetzach chama. They would conclude the Shema with the rising of the sun. Kadesh yismach gu letfila v'nimtza mispalel bayim. In other words, Kriya Shema right before the sunrise, and Shemini Esrei right as the day begins with the rising sun. Amr b'zeir Maikra, Yerucha im shemesh v'lefnei yerech der derim. Yerucha alludes to when Yidden are makabel o machal shemayim during Kriya Shema, and this is done im hashemesh along with the appearance of the sun, so that Shemayim Esrei, which can only be said after the nets, once it is day, can be said immediately afterwards, kadesh yismach gula l'tfila, with the word gu'ula referring to the bracha of Gal Yisrael said at the closing of the Berachos Kriya Shema. And the pasuk continues, v'lefnei yerech der derim, and this alludes to mincha. The mincha too should be said at the end of the day, right before the moon appears in the night sky. And as Rashi explains, im dimdu mehachama, when the western horizon turns red as the sun sets. The very nature of Kriya Shema, its structure, and whether it is a mitzvah d'oraisa d'Rabbanan, is discussed later on, the Chaf Aleph and Aleph, where we have a machlekes between Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Elazar holds Kriya Shema mid'oraisa. Rabbi Yehuda holds Kriya Shema mid'Rabbanan. Rabbi Yehuda holds that when the Torah writes v'debartabam b'shach b'chov kumecha, all that the Rabbi Shloimy is commanding us to do is to learn some psukim of the Torah before we go to sleep in the evening, and also when we wake up in the morning. Nowhere in the Torah does it say anything about Kriya Shema as we know it. It is only by a takans chacham that we are to fulfill this obligation by saying the pesukim of Shema, V'yahavta, and V'hayim Shemaya. Therefore, Yehuda also holds Safik Kara, Safik Lekara, in a Chaser, because the mitzvah of Kriyishma is only Midrabanan. Rabbi Lazar, on the other hand, holds that since the pasuk of the Bartabam, Peshach B'chav Kamecha, is located within the parasha of Shema, V'yahavta, and also in V'hayim Shemaya, the Torah indicated that it is these two parashas to be said, which means that it is Midiraisa. And therefore, Rabbi Lazar holds Safik Kara, Safik Lekara, Chaser, because since Kriyishma is Minat Torah, the klal is that Safik Midiraisa L'chumra. And what about the parasha of Tzitzis? What's its connection to Kriyishma? Parasha Tzitzis b'mnei Kavua. What shaykhs does the last parasha of the Yom have with the first two parashas of Shema? Yehuda bar Chaviva b'mnei sheyesh b'chamisha dvarim. Mitzvahs Tzitzis, Yitzis Mitzrayim, Ol Mitzvahs, B'das Minim, Hira Avera, V'hira Avodah Zara. Also, in the last Mishnah of the first paragraph, we have the famous Mishnah Maskirin Yitzis Mitzrayim Ba'leilis. Amar B'Lazar ben Azariah, Harei ani kevin shiv mishana, v'lo zechisei sheti amar Yitzis Mitzrayim Ba'leilis. Now, since one must remember Yitzis Mitzrayim twice every day, once by day and once in the evening, Chazal were misaken and connected it, so to speak, to Kriyishma, which must also be said once by day and once in the evening. A large portion of the first parak is dedicated to the Haggadah, many Haggadic statements that elaborate on the theme of Berachos HaTorah, Berachos Shema, Tefillah, when and how to bow during the Shemoneh Esrei, and the koyach of tefillah, how amazing the power of tefillah is, as we see from the story of when the Navi Yeshayahu ben Amitz tells Chizkiyahu HaMelech, Ki meisata v'lo tichya. Hashem has decreed that you, Chizkiyahu HaMelech, are to die because you never wanted to get married and have children. Chizkiyahu tries to explain himself, but Yeshayahu rebukes him and says, Kfar nigzer alech gzer, it's too late, the gzer cannot be revoked. Chizkiyahu answers him back in a seemingly harsh voice and says, Kalei nevuascha v'tzei, and asks him to leave as he refuses to accept this harsh decree, and tells him, Kach mekublani mebeis avi abba. This is my tradition from my grandfather's household. Even if there's a sharp sword placed on a person's neck, a person should not hold back from beseeching mercy. It's never too late to daven to Hashem. And the pasuk says, V'yasav Chizkiyahu ponav el hakir v'yispal el Hashem. Chizkiyahu turned away facing the wall and cried out to Hashem, Mikirois liboy, from the depth of his heart. And sure enough, Hashem annulled the harsh decree, and Chizkiyahu lived another 15 years. Other Mamor Chazal in our Masechta that speak about the Koyach HaTfilah on Daf Lamed Beis. V'yidaber Shem Moshe lech reid. Go down. My lech reid. Amar Rebbe Lazar. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu. LaMoshe. Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe red mikdulascha. Go down from your position of authority, of greatness. Klum nasati lecha gedula. Why did I give you the greatness? El b'shvil Yisrael, because of the Jewish people. V'achshav Yisrael chatu. Now the Jewish people sinned. Ata lamali. What do I need you for? Meyat tasha keicha shel Moshe. So Moshe Rabbeinu lost his power. V'lohai keich l'daber. He didn't have the strength to speak. Once Hashem told him, leave me alone, I'm going to destroy them. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, this thing is dependent on me. Immediately he strengthened himself with prayer and he beseeched mercy for the Jewish people. Elazar said, from the day that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, the gates of Tefillah have been closed. Shneimlik says in the pasuk, Gam ki ezek v'shaveya, even though I scream out and I call out, Shasam Tefillah, my prayer has been closed off. But even though the gates of praise have been closed, the gates of tears have not been closed. Shneimlik says in the pasuk, Shema Tefillah Hashem, hear my prayer Hashem, Shavasi Hazina, and listen to what I'm calling out. Al demasi al techrash, to my tears, do not be silent, and to never give up. If a person sees he prayed, he wasn't answered, he should go back and pray again. Shneimlik says in the pasuk, Kavel Hashem, hope for God. Chazak v'yamsabach, strengthen and make your heart mighty. Kavel Hashem, and again hope to God. The Gemara Daf Lamed Daled relates how much Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa was in touch with his tefillas. That as soon as he finished, he was able to say, Zeh chai v'zeh mes, this is alive and this is dead. Amar al Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, they said regarding Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, Shoy mispal al achaylim, that he would pray for the sick, V'oim zeh chai v'zeh mes, and he would say, this one's going to live, this one's going to die. Amar lo minayin at yedeh, they would say, how do you know? If my prayer is fluid in my lips, I know that my prayer was accepted. He says, if not, then I know that the person is not going to live. Which is based on the earlier Mamar Chazal. If someone prays and makes a mistake, simin raloi, so then it's a bad omen for him. And if he's the one who's davening for the Amid, simen ra l'sholchav, and it's a bad sign for the ones who are sending him, because the agent of a person, of a people, are like them. I think it represents a supporting brisa. Tanaban limna brisa. Ma'aseh shechol b'nai shel Rabbi Gamliel. The incident happened where the son of Rabbi Gamliel became ill. Shagar shnei talmidei chachamim etzel Rabbi Chanina ben Daisa. So he sent 2 Talmudic scholars to Rabbi Chanina ben Daisa, lavak shelav rachmim, that he should beseech mercy for his son. Kivin Sharais, and once he saw them, Allah Laliyah, he went up to the upper story, Ubikish Lav Rachmim, and he beseeched mercy for him. Biridase Amalahem, when he came down, he said to them, L'chu, go, Shachotzase Chama, because his fever has left him. Amalei, they said to him, B'chinaviyata, are you a prophet? Amalan, he said to them, Loi Navi Anoichi, I'm not a prophet, V'loi Ben Navi Anoichi, I'm not the son of a prophet. Elekach Mekablani, this is my tradition. Im Shagur Tvilas B'fi, if my prayer is fluid in my lips, Yedani Shumakubla, I know the prayer was accepted. V'mlav, and if not, Yedani Shumaturv, then I know that it wasn't accepted. Yashva V'kasvu, they sat down and they wrote, V'kibnu Eiseh Shah, and they were precise in the moment when this was told to them. When they came to Gamliel, Amalan, he said to them, Ha'avaida, by the service, a sign of swearing, you didn't diminish, you didn't add on. That's exactly what happened. But at that moment, the fever had left, and he asked for us for some water to drink. The second parak deals with the concept of mitzvah tzrichas kavana as it relates to Kriya Shema. The Tanya, like we learned in the Brisa, Hakar Shema, if someone recites the Shema, he has to focus his heart, he has to have intent. And also teaches the halachas as to when and how a person may interrupt his reading Kriya Shema, and also how Kriya Shema is to be read. Tanaban, we learned in the Brisa. Kriya Shema kiksava, the Kriya Shema is as it's written, Divrei Rebbe, that's the opinion of Rebbe. Chachamaim, the sages say b'chol lashon, in every language. You have to hear the words that you're saying. Also discussed is the structure of the Birchas Kriya Shema, such as B'shachris, shtaim lefenel v'achas lacharel, 2 brachas before and 1 bracha after the Shema. Ba'arvis, by Ma'ariv, shtaim lefenel v'shtaim lacharel, 2 brachas before and 2 after. Towards the end of the parak, the Gemara presents the many different private tefillas that numerous Tanoim ended their tefillas with, such as Rav Basad Tzleisa, Rav after he finished davening Shemay Esrei, Amahacha, he would say like this: Yiratzim l'fanecha, may it be your will in front of you, Hashem, Shatit lanu chaim aruchim chaim shasham, that you give us long life and a life of peace. And Mar Bered Ravina, Ki Hav Mesayim Tzlusei, when he would finish his tefillah, Amahacha, he would say, Elikai, my God, Netzer l'shein meira, protect my tongue from saying evil, and my lips from speaking deceit, as we do today. In the 4th parak of Parak Tfilas HaShachar, the Gemara begins to discuss the halachas of davening, and begins first with Tfilas HaShachar, and then Tfilas HaMincha, and only then Tfilas Arvas. This is really in stark contrast to the way the Masechta began, where the Mishnah first discussed the halachas of Kriya Shema Shel Arvas, and later in the second Mishnah, Kriya Shema Shel Shachris. The Pnei Yeshua explains that this is because, in reference to the mitzvah of Kriya Shema, the Torah writes B'shach b'chav kamecha, first mentioning going to sleep and then waking up. Whereas Tefillah is keneged Tamidin Tiknim, with Shachris corresponding to the first carbon of the day, the Tamid Shel Shachar, and also because Tefillah Se'erev is not a chayiv, only a rishus. The very concept of davening every day is machlekes among the major rishonim. The Rambam holds that Tefillah he mitzvah saseh min Torah. The Ramban holds that Tefillah ein ela midrabanan. And yet, even according to the Rambam, Tefillah ein lezman kavu min Torah, and that min Torah one may daven any time of the day. The Rambam writes, mitzvah saseh l'spal b'chol yom. There's a mitzvah to daven every single day. Shneim, like says the pasuk in Shemais, v'avatem es Hashem lekechem. You should serve Hashem your God. From the tradition they learned, when it says to serve God, it means prayer. Like it says the pasuk in Devarim, and to serve Him with all your heart. Amar Chacham, the sages said, what's considered the service with the heart? Zu tefillah, this is prayer. However, ve'ein minyan hatfilas min HaTorah, but the amount of prayers are not biblical. Ve'ein mishnah hatfilah hazos min HaTorah, and also ve'ein latfilas man kavu min HaTorah, and also there's no set time biblically for tefillah. In the early days, each person davened, and whatever nusach worked for him. However, in the times of Ezra HaSefer, after Galus Bavel, hishtabshu tfilasim. Many Yidden lost the ability to say a pure and correct tefillah on account of their being affected by the Galus. Therefore, Ezra Beis Dina were misakin the Shemona Esrei so that everyone could properly daven to Hashem. And they also were misakin minyan hatfilas keminyan hakarbanis. Shachris and Mincha to be said every day, corresponding to the carbon Tamid Shel Shachar and Tamid Shel Ben Abayim, and also the Tfilas Arvis tiknu keneged evari hatamid shemasachim kol halayla al gabe mizbeach. Later on, Rabbi Gamliel was masakin a 19th bracha in the Shemona Esrei, the Berachos Haminim, because of the spread on the Minim who had caused the Yidden many problems. Also, Ezra was masakin Tfilas Musaf on those days that a carbon Musaf was brought in the Beis HaMikdash. This, however, is a machlokes in the Gemara on Daf Chavav and Beis. Idma Rabbi Yisrael Reb Chanina Amar Tfilas Avos Tiknim, the Avos instituted it. Rabbi Shua ben Levi Amar Tfilas Keneged Tmidin Tiknim correlates to the daily sacrifice in the Beis Hamikdash. The Tani Kabbalah said Rabbi Shua ben Levi Nema Amar Tfilas HaShachar at Chatzais. Why did they say that one could daven Shachas until noon? Shari Tamei Shel Shachar Kar B'Hailach at Chatzais, because that's when they would bring the morning carbon up until noon. Rabbi Yehuda ad Arba Shas, it says no, only until halachic 4 hours. Shari Tamei Shel Shachar Kar B'Hailach ad Arba Shas, because actually the Tamid of the morning, that carbon daily sacrifice was actually only until 4 hours into the day. Nema Amr Tfilas Mincha Erev. Why did they say that Mincha could daven until the evening? Shari Tamei Shel Ben Nebayim Kar B'Hailach ad Erev, because the evening carbon Tamid, the daily sacrifice, was until the evening. Rabbi Yehuda at Plaga Mincha says till halfway point of the Mincha, Shari Tamid Shel Ben Nebayim Kar B'Hailach ad Plaga Mincha, because he actually holds that the evening carbon Tamid was actually only up until 10 3/4 of an hour of the day allowed to be brought, and therefore correlating is the Tefillah Mincha. And why did they say that the evening Tefillah of Ma'ariv has no set time limit until when you could say it? Because the limbs and the fats that weren't consumed in the evening, they were able to be sacrificed the whole entire night, which correlates to the Tefillah of Ma'ariv. Why did they say that the Tefillah of Musaf could be the whole day? Because the carbon of Musaf was able to be sacrificed all day. Where Rabbi Yehuda, he says, no, at Sheva Shais, one could daven Musaf only until 7 halachic hours into the day. Shari carbon Musaf, carbon at Sheva Shais, because he holds the carbon of Musaf was only until 7 hours into the day. Bezi Mincha Gedayla, what's considered what's called the big Mincha. Mishei Shais Umechza Ulamala, that's from 6.5 halachic hours into the day, where one could start davening Mincha. Bezohi Mincha Gitana, and what's considered the small Mincha, which is a later share in the day, Mitesha Shais Umechza Ulamala, from 9.5 halachic hours into the day. They had the following question. Rabbi Huda, plag mincha kamo kamar? When he says the halfway point of mincha, was it the first half? Or plag mincha achreina kamar, was it the second half? Tashma, the Tanya, Rabbi Huda, I'm a plag ha mincha achreina amru, v'hi yara alav shoyis chas revia. Rabbi Huda holds that the zman mincha ends at the time of plag ha mincha. Plag ha mincha is calculated from the beginning of the zman of mincha until halfway to shkia. As the word plag indicates, half. So if we say plag mincha kama, then we can calculate the time from mincha gedayla, which begins at 12:30, to the end of the day, which ends at 6 p.m., which is 5.5 hours, and then divide it in half, and we get 2 hours and 45 minutes, which will mean that the end zman of plag mincha kama will be at 3:15. But if we say plag mincha achreina, then we divide the time from mincha ketana, which begins at 3:30, to the end of the day, which ends at 6 p.m., which is 2.5 hours, and then divide it in half. We get 1 hour and 15 minutes, which will mean the end zman of plag mincha achreina will be at 4:45. All of the above calculations are based on a day that is equally divided, 12 hours day and 12 hour night, as we see here illustrated on this 24-hour clock. However, when the days are shorter or longer, these times for plag mincha, as well as alois hashachar and tzesek achavim, change quite dramatically. But generally speaking, throughout Shas, when Chazal discuss manim, they refer to the perfect 12-hour day and 12-hour night, and leave it to us to adjust the cheshbonos accordingly. The 6th parak discusses Hilchas Berachos. Keitzim avarchen ala peres. What brachas does one make on fruits? But before the Gemara starts to comment on the Mishnah, it begins by asking Mina and Amili, what is the source for the Mishnah's assumption that we need to make a bracha before we eat? And the Gemara goes on to present different possibilities. Among them, the Gemara says, the Torah teaches that when one finishes eating any of the Shivas Aminim, he's to make a bracha birchas hamaz. Now thank Hashem for the food he just ate, as the pasuk says, v'chalta v'savato v'rachtas Hashem lekecha. So based on this pasuk, the Gemara wants to say that the asi b'kal b'chaymer, kishu sava mavarach kishu rav lekashkin, that if we must make a bracha when we no longer have the need for food, then for sure when we're hungry and asking Hashem for food, we should definitely make a bracha. Based on this and other sources, the Gemara attempts to prove that the obligation to make a bracha before eating is indeed midaraisa. But at the end, after an extended back and forth discussion, the Gemara concedes that it is derabanan, and that it's based on a svara that a person cannot have pleasure from this world without blessing Hashem. Pnei Yeshua points out that even if we know brachas before eating through svara, this really should mean that it is a deraisa, as the Gemara says many times throughout Shas, lo malikra svarahi. However, the overwhelming paiskim accept that a bracha is indeed only midrabanan. The first Mishnah Perek Keitzim Avarchen, besides listing the brachas one is to make on food that grow on the ground and on trees, it also teaches the concept that certain types of food, once they are processed, will cause its bracha to also be affected. For fruits that grow on trees, there are 3 categories: grapes, olives, and other fruits. When the juice of grapes are squeezed out and become wine, it is ishtani le'eluya, it changes for the better, and therefore ishtani lebracha, receives a higher level bracha, because the Gemara says, chamra ispe tarti, sa'id misameach lavav enosh. It satiates and it makes the person happy. The newly squeezed juice from the grape, which is now called wine, now has two distinct milas. Chamra sa'id, wine satiates, and also misameach lavav enosh, delights a person's heart, and therefore gets its very own special bracha, bari priagafen. On the other hand, ordinary meiperes, fruit juices such as apple or orange juice, are considered ishtan ligraya, as going down the chashivas, and therefore they lose their original bracha, and only a shahakal is said over them. And with regards to oil, which is the juice of an olive, while it's not the ishtani liluya and does not acquire new milas like wine, which would give it its own bracha, it does however retain its original mila, therefore it does retain its original bracha of ha'ez. And then there are grains which grow in the ground that if eaten raw would require bracha of bayir pri'adama, and depending on how it is processed, would either require bracha of bayir mina mezainis or hamaitzi lechem in the arts. And again, the reason is because with each step, it is ishtani liluya. The Gemara Daf Lamed Ches discusses the very nature of the bracha of hamaitzi lechem in the arts. Tanaban, sha'ala paso oimer hamaitzi, ma'o oimer hamaitzi lechem in the arts, and nechemia meant maitzi lechem in the arts. Amarava b'maitzi kulam alei plegi. No one disagrees with maitzi. The apik mashma, it means being taken out from the ground. T'chsiv, kel maitzi mimitzrayim, God who took them out from Egypt. Kipligi beha maitzi, which is the nusach habracha that we make. Rabbanan savri hamaitzi the apik mashma. T'chsiv hamaitzi lacha ma'im mitzrach halamish. Reb Nechem Yisava, he says hamaitzi the mapik mashma. Shenema hamaitzi eschem mitachas sivas mitzrayim. So that was the machlekes regarding if hamaitzi would mean what Hashem took out of from the ground or not. Taisus brings v'hilchasa hamaitzi. Why would we say hamaitzi if actually without the hay, maitzi, everyone agrees woman to fulfill his obligation? The Yerushalmi explains the reason is because you don't want to actually mix up the letters of the words. Ha'olam maitzi, which the mems could be mixed. What do I mean by lechem min? You also have the mems touching. But Shani Hasan, there it's different. The crux because the pasuk says in Tilm Kov Dald, Matzmiach chatzel labehema ve'esav lavoitis ha'adam lahaiti lechem min ha'aretz. And since it says those words there in Tilm, we want you to keep that nusach. Now, V'akein, therefore, yesh libtzaya b'shtei yadav, one should make the bracha and break the bread with 2 hands, be'esret spice with 10 fingers, neged yod tevish abimikrzeh, which correlates to the 10 words in that pasuk that we just quoted, relating to taking bread out of the ground, which is what the bracha of hamaitzi is. Enough Memalef, the Gemara discusses the concept that if one has a choice of different food items in front of him, there are halachas as to which he should make bracha first. Am Rabbi Yisuf, Beitem some say Rabbi Yitzchak. Kala muktim b'pasik zeh, muktim lebracha. Whoever, with whatever is first in this pasuk that we're going to quote, is first to make a bracha. Shlomo says the pasuk regarding what Eretz Yisrael is praised with. It says Eretz, it's a land of chita, v'sa'ira, v'gefen, v'te'ena, v'rimain. Eretz zeith shemen udvash. Now, Rav Chizda and Rav Amnuna have a yasi b'sudasa. They were sitting at a meal. Aisulu kameyu, they brought in front of them tamri b'rmaini, dates and pomegranates. Shakal Rav Amnuna, baruch tamri b'reisha. He went, he took, and he made a bracha on the dates first. Amal Rav Chizda, le'sfir le'mar l'hodam Rabbi Yisuf, don't you hold the halacha of Rabbi Yisuf, he came in some say it was Rabbi Yitzchak, that kalamuktim b'pasik zeh kodem le'bracha. Whatever is first in this pasuk is first in the bracha. And here, the thing you made on wasn't first. Amalei said to him, no, zeh sheni la'aretz, it doesn't depend on earlier in the pasuk. It means the one that's closer to the word aretz. And here, although this was mentioned later, but however, it's still going to be the first from the word of aretz. Amalei says, "Man yov lo nagir de parzlav nishmanach." He says, if only we could go ahead and always hear such beautiful teachings of Torah. Amar Ula, Ula said, "Machlekes b'shebich sein shavis." Machlekes is when the blessings are the same. Rabbi Yehuda holds min shiva adif. Making a bracha on one of the shiva aminim, which we just quoted in the pasuk, the 7 species, that's better. Rabbanan Sabi, the Rabbanan hold on min chavav adif. No, what's more precious, what a person desires more, that's better. But if the brachas are not the same, everyone agrees that you make a bracha on one, and then you go ahead and make a bracha on something else. The Gemara Daf Memhei discusses the mitzvah of zimun la'achar suda, to make a zimun, to bench with a zimun and its source. 3 people that are eating together as one. They have to make what's called a zimun. Menanimili. Where do we know this from? Amar Vasi. It says, because Amar Kra, the pasuk says, Gadu Lashem iti, make great to Hashem with me. V'neremish mayachtim, will elevate His name together, which is one person talking to 2. He brings a different source, when they call it the name of Hashem, again, one person speaking and two people in the plural being a greatness to God, which is the halacha of zima, with three people together. The homeowner, he makes the blessing on the bread, and the guest makes the bracha. That the balabais opens the Suda with a bracha, while the guest is on with benching after the Suda, as the Gemara explains. Balabais b'itzeya, why does he make the bracha on Moitzi? That he should go ahead and break bread in a generous way. And the guest, he makes the bracha at the end by benching kadesh yavarch balabais, that he should bench, he should bless the homeowner. What bracha does he make? He writes in that it should be the will of Hashem that the homeowner should not be embarrassed in this world, he should not be disgraced in the world to come. The Rebbe adds on words. He should be successful with all his assets. His properties and our properties should be successful, and close to the city. And the Satan should not have any dominion, not in his handiwork and not in our handiwork. And shouldn't happen in front of him, in front of us. No thoughts of sin from here on. The Gemara in Daf Mem Zayin teaches the structure and evolution of Berachos HaMazon. Rav Nachman. Moshe Tikkun LiYisrael Berachos Hazan. Moshe Rabbeinu made the first bracha of benching b'shosh yered leheman, when they had the manna fall down from Shemayim. Yeshua Tikkun Berachos Haaretz. Yeshua made the second bracha of benching kivin shenichnas la'aretz, once they entered into Eretz Yisrael. David Shloimy Tikkun Bein Yerushalayim. They instituted the third bracha, which talks about Yerushalayim. David Tikkun Al Yisrael Amecha V'al Yerushalayim Irecha. V'shleima tikkun alabayis hagalav hakadosh, because he was the one who built the Beis Hamikdash. Hatayva meitiv, the fourth bracha in benching, beyavna tiknu, in Yavna they instituted keneged harugi beitar, correlating to those who were killed in Beitar. The Amr of Masna, Isayayim shenitnu harugi beitar, for the day that those who were killed in Beitar, who weren't buried for a long time, were able to be buried. Tiknu beyavna meitiv, they instituted the bracha. Hashem is good and He does good. Hatayv, he's good, shlehis that the bodies did not decompose. V'ameitiv shenit lukvur, and He does good that they were given over to be buried. Towards the end of the Masechta and Daf Samach Aleph, the Gemara relates a well-known, fascinating Haggadah. Tanaban, Pamachas Gaza Malchas Rasha Shleyask Yisrael Bater. One time, the evil kingdom decreed that the Jewish people should not toil in Torah. But Papas ben Yehuda umatzal Rabbi Kiva shemakal kills param Bater. They encountered Rabbi Kiva that he was gathering the multitudes of people learning Torah with them. Amalei said to my Kivi, Atam Misyar named Malchus, aren't you afraid of the government? Amalei said to him, I said, I'll give you a parable, what this can be compared to. There was a fox that was going by the riverside. He saw fish that were gathering in different places. What are you running from? Why are you hiding in groups together? They said to him, because there's nets that people try catching us with. He said to them, he says, I have a better idea. Why don't you come onto dry land? Why don't you come on dry land and live with me like the way my fathers lived with your fathers? They said to the fox, you're the one that they call the smart one amongst the animals? You're not a smart one, you're a fool. If where our life blood is in the water, we're afraid, in the place of our death, on dry land which we cannot survive, all the more so. So said Rabbi Kiva, also us, that now we're sitting in toil and terror. Shakasaba, where it says regarding it, it's your life and it's lengthy of your days. Kach is like that we're afraid for our life. And if we're going to stop learning Torah, all the more so for sure we're going to die. Amr, they said, it wasn't long before long that they went and they captured Rabbi Kiva, and they locked him up in jail. Papas ben Yehuda, and then they also captured Papas ben Yehuda, and they put him in jail next to Rabbi Kiva. So he said to him, Papas, what are you doing over here? On that Amalei said to Rabbi Kiva, Rabbi Kiva, praiseworthy are you, Rabbi Kiva, at least you were thrown into jail because of learning the words of Torah. More to Papas that he was thrown into jail for things that are not so significant. And with that we will conclude our shiur. B'shosh asked Rabbi Kiva Hariga, when they took out Rabbi Kiva to be executed, it was a time of saying Kriya Shema. But he circled as Basar b'Masreka Shel Barzel, they were combing his flesh with combs of iron. And he was accepting himself the yoke of heaven. So a student said to him, Rabbeinu, our teacher, Ad Kan, until that extent? He said to them, all my life I was in pain regarding this pasuk that says, with all your soul. Even if Hashem takes your soul. I said, when is this going to come to my hand that I'll be able to fulfill this? Now that I have an opportunity to like him, I'm not going to fulfill it? He was lengthy in the word echad from the pasuk of Shema until his soul left him when he was still saying the word echad. The heavenly voice came out and said, praiseworthy are Rabbi Kiva, that your soul went out with the word, with the unity, which is the unity of Hashem, which everything is one from Hashem. The ministering angel said in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this is the Torah learning and this is its reward. Mimsim yadcha Hashem, mimsim agoyim, they should die by your hand, Hashem. He said to them, Chalkum b'chayim, their portion is in life. Yet Sabaska v'amra, heavenly voice came out and said, Ashrech Rabbi Kiva, shatim mezum l'chayil mabah. Praiseworthy are Rabbi Kiva that you are prepared for the life of the world to come.